Moving on to Chapter 5, Section 2, Family Problems. We're on page 119. And, not every family's perfect. Just let me make you understand that. Not everybody's perfect, okay? So there's a lot of problems that can cause in a family. Finances. As a matter of fact, finances is one of the main reasons why couples separate or get divorced. But you can have illness can be a major problem. No one wants anyone to get really sick in their family, but that could be a damper. That could affect the family dynamics. You also have, of course, the separation or divorce of a family. That definitely would disrupt the family unit. Maybe you're not used to having to go to one parent's house to the other parent's house. I've had many students in the past, especially when I was teaching in middle school, they would leave their schoolwork at their one parent's house, and then they wouldn't see that parent for another 2 or 3 more days. So it was really hard for those kids to get organized, and it was really stressful for them. Then, of course, you have drug abuse, which I'm talking all kinds of drugs, alcohol, drugs, in the sense of, marijuana, vaping, smoking can be a major issue, drinking alcohol, doing over-the-counter drugs, any type of addictive behavior, addictive issue will affect the family. And, of course, you have major issues regarding physical abuse, sexual abuse, which is really, really sad if you are in a situation like that. And if you are, you need to ask for help. You need to call 911, tell a teacher or a counselor. But, if that is happening to you, you need to ask for help. So family violence, domestic violence is huge. That is one of the main issues that police officers face. I mean, I'm a cop's kid, so my dad would come home and tell me stories, and it'd be really scary and sad, and you don't know what you're getting into, And of course, if there's drugs and alcohol related to that domestic violence, the person's not thinking properly. They're not on. When you are looking at page 120, advice dealing with students or children dealing with divorce. Now, I am not from a divorced family, but my parents argued a lot, and perhaps they should have. I don't know, but there's some issues that wasn't really comfortable for me as a child growing up. There was a lot of yelling. When I talked about physical abuse, there was a lot of emotional, mental abuse going on in that. So there's some do's and don'ts to that. And again, no one knows how you're feeling because they're your feelings, and you need to make sure that you talk to someone if you are in a situation that is not safe, okay? And again, not every family is perfect. Communication is key. You need to be able to express your feelings. Your feelings are valid. Remember that. And it's the action behind that feeling that could cause a problem. So I mentioned abuse. We have sexual abuse and emotional abuse, and there's child neglect. Unfortunately, sexual abuse happens to children, and it's not the child's fault. I shared with my one friend when she was going through depression and suicide that she was sexually abused. My mother was sexually abused, so there was a lot of issues with that, and that probably explains some of the reasons of my upbringing. But if you are being sexually abused, you need to, again, I can't reiterate enough to get help. Emotional abuse. You may not see those scars, like if someone is physically harming you, punching you or what have you, but the emotional scars, you don't see them. So ridiculing someone, putting someone down verbally, telling them they're not good enough, judging them, that emotional abuse and psychological abuse, those scars, sometimes they're really, really deep, and they can affect you later on in life. So, talking to someone about those feelings, feeling neglected in the sense of not feeling loved. You need to talk to someone about that. You do that because that way you can be a better person down the road and not continue that pattern. Neglect could be, not feeding the child properly, not having a healthy house or housing, not clothing the child properly. So you need to, make sure that you're in a safe environment. All right, so you're going to also finish up reading about some statistics about runaways. A lot of teens go through problems, and they don't want to share because maybe they're embarrassed or they're scared, and they feel desperate, and sometimes they do run away. And then they find out why they run away is because they're being abused at home. So again, do not be afraid to ask for help. And every family's different, and the key thing is to make sure you have open lines of communication. You may not like to hear what the person says, but you need to have an open mind and listen and agree to disagree at times, and, be respectful of rules of the house. Use your common sense. And know that you are valued, by the way. Okay, you are. All right, I'm going to be moving on to the next session in a second. Take care.